kind of want to give you a big picture today of what I think the writing journey is, and I want to share some of my experiences. Now, first of all, I'm a surgeon, okay? I specialize in getting the meanness out of people. And I want to give you a secret that most surgeons don't tell you about surgeons. You see, there are good fast surgeons and there are bad fast surgeons, but there are no good slow surgeons. And so today I think the same translates for speaking and for surgery, okay? There are good fast speakers and there are bad fast speakers. I'm going to try to go through a lot of stuff, and I'm going to try to give you a framework which has helped me in my writing journey, and I hope it helps you a little bit. You may not be aware of this. You may not be aware of this, but this is an equation. It may have never crossed your mind, but there's an equation in your mind that describes how you handle your life circumstances, how you respond to your life events. Now, you can't see this equation, but it's a very complicated equation. Just relax. I'm not that smart, okay? I like to keep things very simple. But, well, actually, no. I mean, in fact, I'm the guy who failed my pre-math prerequisite in college. So I'm the most mathematically challenged person on the planet. But I want you to think of this in a framework of a formula that describes kind of how we, as writers, the challenges that we face. Many of you remember the day that Trump was inaugurated, whether for good or for bad, whatever your political beliefs are. I remember it for a very different reason. I remember the day because it was a Friday and I was clicking buttons in my office doing my electronic medical records at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and all of a sudden I heard this big loud explosion, like a boom outside of my office. And my computer went dead, my lights flickered, and I walked outside and everything was normal. The lights went back on and everything looked normal. And so then something, kind of clicked in my brain. What am I doing here on Friday afternoon clicking buttons when I could be home with my family? So I got in my car and I went home. And by the time I pulled into my driveway, I got a call from the emergency room. And I turned on, of course I answered the phone, and I was about to give the nurses a piece of my mind. It's Friday afternoon, I'm not on call. What are you calling me for? And the nurse said, no, wait a minute. Your office is on fire. And so anyway, I turn around and I rush back to my office, and I know that you can't see this picture very well, but this is a picture of my office. My office burned up in smoke. This was pretty much my retirement plan. This was my practice. I'm in independent practice. And so I was facing a set of circumstances that I never expected to face. And so after the smoke cleared, the fire marshal let me and my wife walk through this destroyed building. And, so many memories and so many things that I've invested in my life in that building. And there's a little stairwell where I pray. And it's a little narrow stairwell, and I'm a very prayer challenged person too, so I have to kind of get on my knees and kind of, I get distracted easily, so I kind of walk up the stairwell on my knees, and I kind of wondered as I was walking through that hallway with all the soot and the insulation on the floor and all the, everything charred and destroyed, what was that hallway going to be like? And as I turned the corner and as I went up that hallway, I realized that things would never be the same. Those circumstances were going to change my life, but there were some things that I could build my life on. There were 4 things in that stairwell that kind of gave me something to hold on to. The first thing was a Bible. It was an old Bible, and the smoke had charred the Bible. But one of the interesting things, those words were still there. Those principles, those practices, those precepts that we can all build our lives upon. The second thing that was there was an old doctor's bag. It's, the old kind of old-timey doctor's bag. The black smoke had charred the bag, and it had a fresh look on it. I realized that I still, even though I didn't have an office anymore, I still had a ministry. I still had an opportunity, to make a difference in people's lives with my work. The third thing is, as I went farther up the stairwell, there's these pictures of our 5 children. And my wife took all these pictures, and they're all in cowboy suits. And I realized as I turned that stairwell up there that that was one of the most important things. My family was there to influence. I still had people in my life that I really need to focus on influencing. And then up at the top of the stairwell, going up to my little office, a little room where I sleep sometimes when I'm on call, my wife had made this beautiful wall. It was this beautiful stained wall with a cross on it. And it just almost broke my heart because that wall was charred, black and soot. It was just hardly, distinguishable from anything else. But when I took that cross off the wall, I realized that behind that cross was this beautiful impression of the cross. Amidst all that darkness and amongst all that smoke and all that destruction was this beautiful imprint of the cross. And I thought, wow, sometimes in our lives we can't really understand why we go through these circumstances in our lives, but yet one of the main things that God does often is He takes those circumstances and He imprints His image in our life, so that when people see those things in our life, He begins to reflect His image. And so today I want, as I begin to kind of build this equation for you, I want you to realize that we all face circumstances. We all face a set of life events, even with our writing, whatever